Yeah. Okay, so I know we are all familiar with nausea and vomiting, so I do not have that on my list. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Holly, and today I'll be sharing with you my worst pregnancy symptoms. I have some bizarre stuff, the weirdest stuff. Like, I just didn't believe that these were pregnancy symptoms until I actually experienced it. So to jump right into it, I am going to tell you number one. Number one is carpal tunnel. It's pretty much inflammation around your median nerve. It's located, let me see, starting over here, and it can come all the way down, all the way up your arm. Like when you're pregnant, you have extra fluid on you, so that can cause inflammation around that nerve. It can cause fluid around that nerve, numbness and the tingliness from my fingertips all the way to my shoulder. Like, it was crazy. It was the worst feeling, it was the worst pain, and it happened like all the time. It was even worse at nighttime when it was time for me to go to bed and my body is relaxed, and you could just feel those sensations running from your fingertip all the way to your shoulder. And I absolutely feel like I had it the worst, because with this pregnancy I had experienced it going all the way up to my shoulder. But with the other kids, like, it would just stop at the elbow, or it was just in the wrist. It was just mildly aching. But with my last baby, it was the worst. So I do have a splint that I had used with my very first child, so it's fairly old. And it was most definitely a lifesaver when I dug it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, there you are. So you most definitely would need a splint. If you are dealing with carpal tunnel, you most definitely would need a splint. And this is the hard base right here, and it keeps your hand and your wrist aligned. So that is very beneficial as well. And so I have another one that's fairly big that I used at nighttime, and it was so very comfortable. And these are really, really comfortable. They're stretched material. They have like foam beads in the inside, and you could adjust them however you want to. But this one is the one that I used at nighttime, and it helped out a whole lot. I have a blue one. I have a lot of them. And so the blue one is pretty much the one that I use during the day. It's a little more lightweighted, a little bit more convenient to maneuver around the house in. And so I also do have two like small ones that I wanted to try and test out, because literally when you're in that much pain and you don't have anything to relieve it, like over-the-counter medication, Tylenol, ibuprofen, it doesn't alleviate the pain. So I was like, what can I do? What can I do? And so I was just like purchasing all of the splints on Amazon to see like which one is the best, which one is going to help, which one's going to stop the pain. Because like I said, this is number one, and it is the number one pain in my behind during my pregnancy. And so the small ones, I really didn't like the small ones. It just didn't provide enough support because of the pain going all the way up from like my fingertips to my shoulder. So I needed something a little bit more durable and sturdy, and that kept that alignment with my wrist. So I really liked the black one and the blue one, and of course my baby. So if that can be any help to you all, like, most definitely get a splint. I did not use hot compresses. I tried it, and when I did, it seemed like it just triggered it to like start hurting even worse. So I tried cold compresses, and it helped alleviate the pain just a little bit. And so I would just do that every now and then, get an ice pack and put it like right here on my wrist. So that did help just a little bit, but again, it's really like nothing other than just completely eliminating your activity with your hands. Not cooking, not cleaning, but you know, we all have to do those things. So with me doing those things and having to do working and cleaning around the house and cooking, it was kind of just hard not to just babyfy my right arm and not let it do anything, because it wasn't possible. So the splints are something that really did help me to fight through this pregnancy. And most definitely when the pregnancy was over, I think the carpal tunnel lasts probably 1 or 2 weeks after pregnancy, and so it started going away once the fluid is off of you, once the inflammation is everything is going back to normal. So the pain absolutely went away, and I do still have it. I can feel the numbness and tinglingness at nighttime, but it's really just not as bad or severe, nowhere near as severe. So that is number 1. We're going to jump into number 2 is acid reflux. Acid reflux was the worst. It's literally when acid in your stomach is going back up into your esophagus, and it's causing you to have heartburn and acid reflux. And like, it was terrible. This is my second worst pregnancy symptom because I dealt with this with all 4 of my kids, and it is just terrible. And so the trigger foods that I ate that caused this acid reflux was anything that had red dye in it, spaghetti, pastas, ketchup, greasy foods, spicy foods. Like, I was just like, these are my favorite foods. Like, I can't get rid of this, so I need something to maintain this acid reflux. And so I was using a medication called Ranitidine. I think it's Ranitidine or Ranitidine. And I took this medication with all 4 of my kids, and I did not know with my 4th child that there was a recall on it. I had received a message from my friend, and she was like, girl, stop taking that medicine, there's a recall on there. And I was like, stop lying, girl, it's the best medicine out there. And she was like, no, for real, there's a recall on it. And I was like, oh my goodness, what else am I going to take? And so she told me about another medication called Nexium, and it was a lifesaver. It most definitely was a lifesaver. I didn't have to take 2 or 3 a day. I was able to just take one like every 3 days, or one once a week. And so that really was a lifesaver with the acid reflux. But Nexium have absolutely helped me get through my acid reflux struggles. And so I do have some here that I want to show you that I received from my physician. So most definitely, if you are battling with acid reflux, you most definitely want to talk to your physician about it and see what medication is that you're able to take, or what's best for you and your health. And this is what it looks like. It's like a 40 milligram powder pack. I would literally take this like a BC because it's so effective, super fast. And there is also some over the counter, so if it's okay with your doctor to like take this medication while you're pregnant, there is also some that is over the counter and off-brand generic kind, and those absolutely work too. You may have to take 2 to meet that dose because that's a 40 milligram dose, and usually in the store they sell it for like 20 milligrams. But I didn't even have to really do that. I could just take 1 and it absolutely works. So Nexium was my best friend for acid reflux. So talk to your doctor about it and see what your doctor says about this medication and see if it's right for you. Symptom number 3 is I was always hot, and I'm sure this is a very common symptom. I know a lot of us, when we're pregnant, we're hot, we have the extra weight, we don't want to be bothered. It was cold outside and it was cold in here, so I know my family, they just really didn't like that one. They did not adapt well to that one. I could hear them now in my head just replaying it. It's cold in here, it's cold in here. But I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm hot. So you can't be pregnant and hot at the same time. It's just not gonna work. And being hot in the summertime is not gonna work either. So recommendations for just being hot: just wear loose fitted thin clothes, keep a fan, keep your thermostat down low, make sure that everybody in the house is, you know, let them know and have them aware of, like, mommy's high, hormonal changes, so I need it to be cold in here so mommy won't get cranky, and here's the extra blanket, here's a hoodie, here's some onesies, like whatever you need. So always being hot do eventually change after you give birth. And I think a reason why it changed for me is because I lost so much blood and I became anemic. And like, when you're anemic, you're cold. So I immediately, right after the baby, I was just like shivering, and I continued that for like a few days. And now I'm like really cold. Like, either I have like a sweater on, a hoodie on, my night robe or whatever, because now I'm always cold. And my family is like, how you go from being so hot to so cold? I'm like, it's a mommy's thing. And that's what happens. it's a hormonal change, and I try to explain it to them, but I'm sure they'll understand one day. Okay, so symptom number 4 is night sweats. It was like every night I'll be drenching wet from my waist to my feet, literally in a puddle of water, and it always was so uncomfortable. I had to change my linens out. I had to just make sure I kept the air down, kept my fan on so I could be comfortable, and I just never knew why. It was just from my waist down that I would be drenching wet. And so I did talk to my doctor, and she told me that was just a hormonal change, and at nighttime your body temperature do rise. And I was like, oh, okay, it's kind of making some sense. But hormonal changes, like, you can imagine what can possibly happen to your body. Like, who knows anything. And so that one wasn't really that bad. It just became so very uncomfortable, waking up, having to re-shower, redress, and just do all of those things. But for my recommendations, I do recommend that you lay a towel down while you're sleeping. If you start seeing those symptoms, lay a towel down, and so you won't have to change your bed linens out every single day. Like, who wants to do that when they're pregnant? Keep the air cool in the house. Have a fan in your room or your ceiling fan going just to keep your body temperature regulated. And so that is symptom number 4. Symptom number 5 is hip numbness while I was sleeping. And it was only while I was sleeping that, like, if I'm laying on my right side, my right hip will go numb, and then it'll be so uncomfortable. It was like a tingling sensation, and so it will wake me up, and it just feel like my hip is numb, like I'm poking at it, and like it's numb. I really can't feel anything. And so I will rotate to my left side, and after I'm laying there, and I'll be suddenly woken up with a left side hip numbness. So I was like, what is going on? And so I did do some research and also spoke with my doctor. And so she pretty much said that it's just like poor circulation in your legs, like the blood is not flowing how it should be. And what can help with that is to like do stretches before I go to bed and when I wake up. Don't constantly just lay down or sit in a position for a very long time. And I'm like, well, I'm pregnant. I kind of don't want to do anything. I just want to sit. And so she was like, no, just get a little bit more active throughout the day and just help that blood circulate through your legs. And then hopefully it can minimize the discomfort at nighttime. I was like, okay, so I tried that out, and it helped just a little bit. But I could just still remember myself just rotate all through the night because of hip numbness. So that was very, very irritating. So those recommendations, use those recommendations. Just stretch, limit sitting down for a very long time. Even when you're up throughout the day, you just want to sit down and watch TV. Just try to get a little bit more active while you're pregnant, and that could help circulate that blood through your legs and prevent that numbness during the nighttime in your hips. Okay, so moving along, this is my last one, and it is the bizarrest symptom. So I'm gonna get my prop. So I hope you guys can guess what this is. And yes, this is perfume. Literally perfume as a pregnancy symptom. Can anybody guess what it is? Some of you may know, but this is the worst pregnancy symptom, the bizarre pregnancy symptom that I have experienced. And it happened to me while I was eating. It literally tastes like someone sprayed perfume in my mouth while I was eating. And I was like, kids, did somebody just spray something? And they was like, no, Mom, we didn't spray anything. And I was like, are you sure? And they was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm just like, just tasting my mouth and like, what is going on? If you have experienced this symptom, please comment below and let me know, so I won't feel like I'm the only one out there that felt like I had someone spray perfume in my mouth while I was eating. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I appreciate everyone for watching. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe below, and I will see you guys next time.